check my damn temperature. Bro, just like in the past 2 hours, I start feeling bad as shit. And I ain't even leave the house this morning. I went to bed feeling fine last night. Got up feeling fine this morning. I didn't even notice shit when I got up. In the last couple hours, bro, I don't know what the fuck going on. I don't feel too good right now. This is crazy. And I don't like it. Damn, I'm supposed to... Man, shit. I'm supposed to drop something off to somebody today. I don't even want to leave the house really now. Oh well. You know how I know when I be getting sick? With them body chills. I be having a little chill, and sometimes a chill don't mean nothing. It could be just some external stimuli that give you goosebumps real quick. But nah, as soon as I felt that first chill, I was like, okay. And then that shit just started intensifying, and now that shit won't even go away. So I feel like I got body chills, but at the same time, my skin's still hot as shit. Like it's not cold in here. I even turned the fucking, I turned the AC off in here and everything. I'm still getting goosebumps. Oh my God. I just got over my fucking sty. My eye keep leaking all through the night, getting this goopy shit in there when I wake up in the morning. And now, I got this whole body shit going on. My back still hurting. Oh man, I feel like I'm falling apart this morning. Oh man. This ain't good, guys. I'm gonna try to do a couple hours real quick. I want to get her orange shirt painted. I meant to do it yesterday. That was my goal for yesterday evening after work, is to paint her shirt. But I wound up getting another project to do. One of my homies had me do like a quick little thing. His daughter is having a birthday party. They want to do like the sip and paint, so they wanted to have Lilo, not Lilo and Stitch, but Lilo and Angel. I guess there's another little monster named Angel. So my homie asked me if I can draw up some canvases for the kids. 24 of them. So I had to do 12 Lilos, 12 Stitches, and 12 Angels. So I did 12 yesterday after work, and then I got up and did the other 12 this morning. So that shit is done. So I was just gonna wait for him to hit me up later so I can go drop it off to him. But yeah, I ain't do no painting yesterday afternoon because I was doing this little drawing commission. Now I gotta see it, like I say, at least get that orange shirt painted today. That's almost a must. Now my nose starting to feel stuffy. Oh man, I'm about to fall apart right in front of y'all eyes. This is crazy. I hate being sick. I really don't need my eyes starting to water again. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go get some of them drops. Damn. I had a hiccup while I was inhaling. That shit felt weird as hell. Then we got a bunch of rain last night. I was gonna be outside cutting the grass right now, but I looked outside this morning. That grass too wet for a lawnmower. So I was like, alright, studio time. I don't feel good. And like I say, even this morning when I looked outside, I was feeling fine. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna cut the grass. Like I ain't think, oh, my back, bro. It's fucking odd. This goddamn eye will not let up. I'm telling you, man, my eye just keep running. I'm so tired of this shit. I woke up in the middle of the night with a little wet spot on my pillow. I'm like, am I slobbing? They're like, nah, that shit was coming out my eye. It's like I was just crying all night in my sleep. Cause this fucking sty, it don't hurt no more, but it's still kind of puffy. I can feel it a little bit. It's almost gone. I should have put some drops in as soon as I got up this morning. Like that. Ooh, chills. I ain't gonna lie, I might turn the heat on in this bitch. It ain't even cold, but I just feel cold. Who got busted? When the weed don't help, that's how you know you're getting sick. My nose starting to get stuffy. Oh my god, I'm not ready for this shit, bro. I don't feel like being sick right now. Sick on the weekend? That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit. How you sick on the weekend? All week. All week. Great. Felt fantastic. Saturday morning, I start feeling like shit. What the fuck? Chilling, bro. Sitting up here just whining and complaining about how I don't feel well. And that shit just came on like I say, maybe like I started feeling it like an hour and a half ago, almost 2 hours ago. So when I first got up this morning, I felt fine. Didn't notice anything. Came up in the studio and started working on that project. And as soon as I was starting to get finished with the project, I'm over there in the other room, started feeling like a little chill and shit. I'm like, oh man, what the fuck is that? I say, cause it ain't cold in here. So now, like in the last 2 hours, like I'm starting to feel bad, bro. I'm starting to feel real bad this morning. I ain't even do shit. You know what I'm saying? Sweat. That's what I'm about to do, bro. Sweat it out. I'm about to go. After I get out the studio, I got this little drink that I make. It's like a probiotic. It's apple cider vinegar, honey, lemon, turmeric, pepper, and ginger. You mix all them shits together, like fresh ginger and a lot of fresh oranges. Put that shit in the pot and let it like simmer a little bit. Drink that shit, bro. Drink that shit a couple times a day for a couple days. That shit'll knock out a lot of shit out your system. And I think today I'm gonna try to fast for a little while. I haven't eaten anything, but I did have a bottle of water already. Let me go ahead and try to get started because I don't know how much longer I can last. They got that new variant out. They trying to scare everybody. Now even me, I hate that shit. That I feel so fucking warm, bro. God damn, I gotta go check my temperature. This shit. But then I hate how the world is now, and so it's like COVID. Is it COVID? Do I have COVID again? That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, everything getting stiff. Bro, I gotta hurry up and get some painting done this morning because this shit ain't gonna last long. I'm about to go grab this thermometer though. One of my coworkers in Africa, and she put us in the group chat and sent a bunch of pictures and stuff, and everybody was chatting this morning. Like, what are my symptoms? Right. But yeah, one of my coworkers put everybody in the group chat this morning just to. Oh, you know what? I almost lied just now too. So I'm telling I just told my boss and one of my coworkers who I was around a lot yesterday. I'm like, yo, I'm not feeling good this morning. I got a slight temperature. Please pay attention to your health today. And I agree to say because I came straight home after work and didn't go anywhere, but that's a lie. I stopped by my homeboy's house and picked up the canvases so I can do this fucking project he want me to do. I wonder if somebody in his house is fucking sick. But it wasn't. I wasn't even in there 10 minutes. But I still took something from his house though. That's the only other place I went after work yesterday was to my homie's crib. And I always tell him I'm on my way, so he knew I was coming. It ain't like I had to wait. Yo, I'm outside. Boom. Yo, it was good. All right, yo, here the canvases right here. All right, what y'all want? Well, we want Stitch on one, and we want Angel on one. All right, just send me the images y'all want to use. All right, yo, that's what's up, man. All right, boom, take the canvases. All right, bro, I'll holler at you later on. And that was about it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe all of 3 minutes, if that, three minutes. But I wonder, like, if somebody in his house is sick, cause I'm not feeling good right now. All right, so I told them, my girl already talking about, oh, you need to take a test. Man, let's get some painting done, cause I gotta get up out of here soon. I need to. I really do feel like I probably just need to lay down or something. Can I lay down and play the game at the same time? I remember one time, man, my cousin. This is when I was living with my family in Virginia, and my cousin, he was still in high school. And this nigga said he was like, "Yo, I don't." He got up late that morning. He already missed the bus and everything. Then he got up. He was like, "Oh, I don't feel good. I don't think I'm going to school today." And so, like, his pops been retired basically his whole life. His pops, so you know, it was me and his pops was at home. It was everybody was at home, and like my room was next to his room, so I go to the bathroom and I hear the motherfucking game on. I'm like, he in there playing some game. No, no, no. Yo, what you doing, cuz? Oh, I'm playing the game. I thought you ain't feel good. I don't feel good. So how you playing the game? He's like, just because I don't feel good, that don't mean I can't play the game. I can sit here and play the game. I said, man, you playing hooky from school or what? He's like, nah, I really don't feel good. And like right now, I really don't feel good and still think about playing the fucking game. That shit is so addictive. I hate it sometimes. Alright, let me try to get some shit squared away. I didn't put my phone on the charger last night, so this bitch about dead. Oh man. Yo, oh, it's getting worse. It's like every it's like every few minutes, like that shit is just these chills are intensifying. I don't know what I did to my back at the gym a couple days ago, but I just had this tight spot like right on the bottom of my shoulder blade on this side, yo. And that bitch would not go away. Now that shit just hurt even more this morning. Oh my god. Fuck me, bro. All right. In an hour, I'll I'll take my temperature again. That shit said I'm already at fucking 99. I'm over 99, 99.2. So no. I heard about it though. Like a couple years ago, I started listening to this podcast called Science and Futurism with Isaac somebody. I can't think of his last name, but the guy who does that podcast, he was the first person who I ever heard talk about Asimov because he loved his Foundation series. And he was like, Asimov was just a science fiction writer way ahead of his time, and like his novels were crazy, and that what kind of got him into thinking about science and futurism as a kid was reading Isaac Asimov's books. And so the only thing I've done so far is like, so he mentioned a guy, he mentions him a lot, and that's what really made me look him up. Like after the third or fourth time of him saying something about Asimov, I was like, let me see if I can um, get a audio copy of one of these books. And I started listening to like the audio book of the Foundation series, and that shit was pretty interesting. They got a city planet where there is no green. Like the whole planet is the city, and people are always like you don't see the sky and you don't see the clouds and the sun and shit, and you're always in artificial like how you describe that shit. It's crazy. And then I did start watching this one show called The Expanse, which is kind of similar to some of Isaac's concepts. I mean, what is it on? Because I only have Netflix and goddamn YouTube. So if that shit ain't on Netflix or YouTube, I can't watch it. I had HBO Prime one time. Cancel that bitch. But yeah, if it ain't on Netflix, I can't watch that shit. But I think I have heard somebody talk about it. The TV series. Now I'm starting to get a fucking headache. Man, when, when? Why can't I zoom in on my shit? And my pad was acting crazy just now. Oh my god, so my phone isn't charged, but I didn't charge the fucking iPad either. This shit is only on 28%. Alright. Yeah, if that shit is on like Prime or Apple TV or whatever platform, if it's not Netflix, I can't watch it. Yeah, I do, bro, but I got wet paint on the palette. And before I get rest, I have to go to the grocery store and get these items I need to make this drink, yo. Yeah. Let me drink some more water. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to turn this heat on. Yo, these chills is about to kill my ass. I need to start warming up now. Oh my God. Oh.
Showing up on the first page of Google might not be the best for everyone, but for business owners it is. Take My Vintage's online store. It ranks for thousands of competitive keywords like vintage clothing, which gets loads of searches on a monthly basis. And 80% of that traffic goes to their site. They also rank for over 1,000 images on Google. All of this drives tons of organic traffic every single month, leading to incredible organic growth year over year and a lot more sales. For those who want to be seen, Wix.com/SEO.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the owner of Mark's Mobility. I started this company in 1995 when I saw a need for people to get mobile again. I have been blessed over the years with this company to have my wife and 2 children work with me side by side to help me grow this company to what it is today. We also...
The Joe Rogan Experience.
They know what they're doing out there, right? The people in office, you know?
Well, I mean, Tulsi can speak to that better than anybody.
Yeah,
I don't know.
When I go downstairs, I got a keypad.
Him in passing,
Throw that bitch on.
but this has been one of the big failures around the aftermath of the wildfire on Maui. This total vacuum of information from government officials to the people. And in that vacuum, obviously people have all kinds of ideas or theories or this or that, but people were left without any kind of communication from anyone in a position of authority to provide help for days and weeks. And it created massive problems. And so, the immediate line of response needed to come from the county and from the mayor and from the emergency response director. And unfortunately, they did not communicate. They're still not communicating. There's still a huge lack of transparency and therefore an increasing level of distrust in any of the levels of government that should be bending over backwards is to answer questions and to say, hey, here's what's going on. every single day. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're having a hard time doing. Whatever the case may be, it has just, it's been a major problem from the beginning.
Do you think that this is a complete lack, because of a complete lack of preparedness, that this is an unprecedented type of disaster, never happened before? It happens and they just weren't prepared. They don't know what to do. And it's incompetence?
I think that is very true. And there's, in hindsight, there are things going back as, Maui has experienced drought year after year after year. Brush fires are a common occurrence, especially on the west side of Maui, where Lahaina is, the side of the island that was most impacted by this. It is, being prepared for wildfires on Maui is something that if you look at their, emergency assessment documents, it's mentioned almost as a bit of an afterthought. Maui Fire has been vastly undermanned and under-resourced for quite some time. So there's all these different things you can look at from a preparedness level that should have been addressed long before. But from the county officials, yes, they were completely overwhelmed and unprepared for this unprecedented wildfire. It's the worst wildfire our country has seen in over 100 years. But the problem is, once you get to that point, like, oh shit, this is really, really, really bad. Not only in the hundreds of lives lost in that fire, but the surrounding communities of people who survived, but who went without power, who went without any cell phone signal, any ability to communicate with people, who didn't have, all of the gas stations in their neighborhood, they were empty. There was no way to get gas. They couldn't get food. They couldn't get clean water. The water supply systems were contaminated. I mean, there was disaster upon disaster that came in the aftermath of the fire that went unaddressed. And my biggest, I went there a few days after the fire happened. Maui was my district for 8 years when I served in Congress, and had a lot of friends there, and went out to those affected communities. And what I heard over and over again was, no one from the county, the state, or the federal government has shown their face in our community. It is neighbors helping neighbors, families helping families, people on the island of Molokai, which they don't have much on their island. Everything comes in by barge. They're loading up whatever they have in their general store on these little boats and running them over to West Maui on a private boat dock, because that was the only place that they wouldn't be blocked from bringing food and water and medical supplies.
Why are people being blocked? I keep hearing that about people being blocked. Is it because they haven't gotten an accurate death count? Is it because they have to make an assessment of how much was damaged, and it's so massive, it's so vast that they haven't been able to do that yet? Like, why is it being blocked?
Things are being opened up now. I think people are able to get in and out of the West Maui area. I understand that the historic town of Lahaina is still being blocked off, and they are working on reopening it as we speak. But in the couple of weeks after the fire,
Whoa.
Why they continue to block the road?
Okay, now she's trying to answer it, but not even in the weeks after the fire, but in the weeks, when the shit was going on, and people trying to get in there and save people. I understand, evacuations and everything, if it's too dangerous, they do just try to mitigate as much damage and bodily harm as possible and just keep people out of certain zones. But, I don't see how they're keeping supplies and shit. That's just like what happened in Hurricane Katrina. Oh, man. But yeah, they keep blocking people, and I don't know. That's why I do like Tulsi Gabbard, because she tries to answer the questions. At first I thought she would, but she really didn't answer it to start with. He said, why were people being blocked? And then her answer was, well, weeks after this has happened, I don't know why people are still being blocked. But you didn't answer, like, initially. Like, why were people blocked initially for trying to get in, provide support, aid, backup, rescue plans? And everyone saying, oh, the roads were blocked. And that's the thing, too. Like, people who actually survived on the inside said that they were blocked from leaving. The fire zone said the cops had the roads blocked and wouldn't let them out. So that's why all these conspiracy theories started popping up. And then, like she said, but she was military, she was Congress, I think she was governor of Hawaii. And she ran for president against Trump. And this last one, where they gave it to Biden. But she seems pretty smart. So she kind of answered that question. Let's hear the question that Joe asked and how she responded to that one. That one got me a little bit. But I don't know, she may try to clarify it because I'm already jumping the gun because I stopped it immediately anyway.
Boat dock, because that was the only place that they wouldn't be blocked from bringing food and water and medical supplies.
Now, why are people being blocked? I keep hearing that about people being blocked. Is it because they haven't gotten an accurate death count? Is it because they have to make an assessment of how much was damaged and it's so massive, it's so vast that they haven't been able to do that yet? Like, why is it being blocked?
Things are being opened up now. I think people are able to get in and out of the West Maui area. I understand that the historic town of Lahaina is still being blocked off, and they're working on reopening it as we speak. But in the couple of weeks after the fire, I don't have a good answer why they continue to block the roads again to those surrounding communities. Why they blocked people like Kai Lenny and others from using their jet skis and boats to try to bring supplies in through the water. You could say, well, we were trying to secure the area, but you're blocking friends and family from coming in and bringing necessary supplies, literally doing supply runs. So, I jumped on a plane that was doing supply runs from Kahului, the main airport on Maui, out to this tiny little airport that serves that community, and that was for a lot of days the only way that they could get supplies brought in. I don't know. I really don't know. But again, this goes back to, why aren't you communicating to people what's going on and why you're doing what you're doing? All the result of their decisions left people and families and communities stranded in their most dire time of need. And the mayor didn't go out and show his face until almost 2 weeks after the fire happened.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
And then says he wants to take the land for the state. That's his first.
Now this is
I think
one of
the
the
governor
reasons. Yeah,
said
this is
that.
one of the reasons why I
Sorry.
want to talk about this. Like, how is that possible? That these people could lose their home and then lose their land? Like, how is that possible?
It is the number one concern of people there in Lahaina, is that a few days after this happened, I haven't spoken to the governor, but he said in a press conference, he said, we're talking to the Attorney General. He said, I'm talking to my Attorney General to explore options for the state to take over that land and use it to build workforce housing or build a memorial to for the people who lost their lives. But the fears that the people in Lahaina have, some of whom, like Archie Kalepa, famous surfer, community leader, Native Hawaiian leader, his family has lived in Lahaina for 9 generations, now being told, well, the state, the governor is looking at taking that land, taking ownership of that land, that it is unconscionable. And there's, oh, we'll for those who've been displaced, we'll see about doing a land swap and we'll send you to the Big Island to live in Puna.
Jesus.
It's taking away the sovereignty of people's rights to have a say over their home, in many cases their generational lands, it is such an abuse of power. And so this is, and I'm glad that there are leaders in the community who are leaning into this point.
That's crazy. So they burnt everybody's house down. DualShock controller is low. Bitch, you been plugged up the whole time. So they burnt everybody's house down and made sure that they burned. And then they say, well, you know what? Instead of trying to rebuild here, we're gonna take the land, eminent domain. We'll send y'all to the main island. But Oprah and Gates and everybody else that own property, now they have their own new Epstein type style location right in Hawaii, because their property didn't burn and their houses are still standing. So you can't take my land. And we could build like work camps, or you know what, we might build a memorial and just not have anybody here and just make it a memorial site in remembrance of the travesty, the devastation, and the massive loss of lives and generational history. We have to memorialize this so that we never forget. But you can't live here anymore, because it's gonna be a memorial site now. What about Oprah? Well, Oprah house didn't burn down, so how can we just take her land if the house is still there? This shit is getting wild. And all of this, the thing is, the memory span is so short. So in 10 years, motherfuckers will forget about this shit. In 10 years, motherfuckers will forget about it, and they would have already rebuilt and established whatever new compound, commune, goddamn rich elitist playground memorial site for this shit. And that is what it is, because that's how we want it to be.
Make sure that they're fighting this fight before anybody tries to do that, rather than looking in the rearview mirror and saying, gosh, I wish we had done something.
But just imagine a governor going on television after a massive tragedy where we don't even know the number of people dead yet. You have this massive area that's been burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about taking it over for the state. That's an insane position to take.
It is.
Post-tragedy. When people are suffering at their most, they can't even believe it happened.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's saying, we're going to take it for the state and make a memorial? How about give the fucking people their homes back?
Exactly.
You know, one of the things we went over yesterday, which is a crazy number, we were looking at the amount of money that was accidentally sent to Ukraine. Like they oversent $6 billion. And then I said, well, how much would it cost to rebuild every house in the Maui fire? And it's $5 billion. $5 billion something.
Yeah.
Like that's just like accidental money. But there's no talk of doing that. There's no talk of doing that. Isn't that interesting?
The way, and it's happened 2 or 3 times now where the Pentagon has said, oh, we miscalculated how much money we had set aside for Ukraine, so we have an extra $4 billion to send now that we didn't know we had. And this has happened a few times. Secretary of State Tony Blinken went to Kiev yesterday promising, hey, we're going to give you another $1 billion now. And this is the thing. When I was out there in Maui, person after person was like, Tulsi, tell me what would happen if we started to call ourselves Ukraine. You think they would give us some money then to take care of our families, to fix our roofs, you know, that had been torn up by the hurricane winds that came through, to make sure we have clean water to drink. You think they might pay attention to us then? And then FEMA comes out, the FEMA director comes out and does this press conference, I think it was at the White House, and she says, somebody said, well, what are you doing for Maui? She's like, oh, we're giving a one-time $700 payment to everybody who's been impacted by the wildfire. A one-time $700 payment.
It's insane.
Hawaii has the highest cost of living in the entire country. The entire country. And how freaking insulting is it to have the lead disaster response administrator from the Biden administration stand there and proudly say, hey, we're giving everybody one $700 payment.
It's insane. And it's insane especially because of how much money we're sending to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because there can be no doubt that these things are financially motivated now.
That's fucking crazy.
It's a forgotten.
That's so crazy. I gotta share that on my Facebook.
Only one loser.
Damn.
It was the greatest sport ever played. I was lucky.
They accidentally sent Ukraine $6 billion. How? How do you do that? How do you accidentally send $6 billion by accident? I did it real quick too. Damn, I posted that shit on Facebook and got stuck for like 2 minutes just now. Alright. I need to paint. I'm not making any progress right now.
Tax season. Let's get out there and crush those taxes.
We know some freelancers who are pumped for tax season. This year, hire a tax expert on Fiverr.
Done.
Pella fiberglass window material is impact resistant, warp resistant, and fade resistant. And it's 10 times stronger than Anderson Vibrex. Pella window replacement on sale now.
Code Interpreter from ChatGPT. It's that incredible feature that allows you to upload files to ChatGPT and interact with them in natural language. So for example, you can upload PDFs and have ChatGPT summarize it for you. You can upload images and convert them into GIFs. You can upload data and run visualizations or analyze that data. It's pretty incredible. But now, what if you could do all of that locally on your own computer? A new project called Open Interpreter makes that possible. Open Interpreter runs locally on your computer. It supports both ChatGPT and Code Llama, and it doesn't have any of the limitations that Code Interpreter does. So first I'm going to show you how to install it, then I'm going to show you how to use it. Let's go. So this is the GitHub page for Open Interpreter. It is at the top of the trending repositories on GitHub right now, and for good reason. It is really incredible. So here it says, Open Interpreter lets LLMs run code, Python, JavaScript, Shell, and more locally. You can chat with Open Interpreter through a ChatGPT-like interface in your terminal by running Interpreter after installing. So you can create and edit photos, videos, PDFs, etc., control a Chrome browser to perform research, plot, clean, and analyze large data sets. And one thing it doesn't mention here is you can actually have it run scripts that change things on your computer. So you can say, change my computer to dark mode, or change it to light mode, or tell me how many files I have on my computer. The possibilities are really endless. So let me show you how to install it now. I'm using a PC, but I ran through this on a Mac and it works just as well. And thank you so much to this video sponsor, CapCut Online. With CapCut Online Video Editor, it is super simple to create YouTube videos just like this one. I've used other video editors, but when it comes to simplicity and just getting the job done well, CapCut Online tends to be the best. And they made things even easier with their Magic Tools suite of features, which is AI-powered functionality that you can use to create incredible videos without needing to be a professional video editor. One of the coolest features from Magic Tools is a feature called Script to Video, which allows you to just give it a prompt and it'll create a script for you. One of the most overwhelming parts of creating video for me is staring at that blank page. But with Script to Video, you just input a few ideas and then CapCut will actually generate you that full script as a first draft. And of course you can edit it and make it better and make it more akin to your own tone. And from that script, if you want to take it a step further, you can actually convert the script directly into a video. And that video will be copyright compliant and ready to export. And then you can use the CapCut editor and edit the video to your needs. So thank you again to CapCut Online Video Editor. With all of the AI tools that they provide, it truly is the easiest way to create professional looking videos for YouTube, for TikTok, or really any platform. Now back to the video. So the first thing you're going to do is open up your terminal with Anaconda already installed. We're going to be using Conda today to isolate the environment. Now if you don't already have Anaconda installed, go ahead and install it. It's super easy. Now one thing to note, and I generally always recommend using Conda to isolate your environment, but in this case, if you want to be able to run Interpreter from any console, then you wouldn't want to use Conda. And since I'm using Conda every time I want to run Interpreter, I have to activate that Conda environment. So let's go ahead and do that now. Conda create -n OI for Open Interpreter, Python equals 3.11.4. And yes, I do want to install the packages. Next, we're going to grab this command right here to activate the environment. So I'm going to highlight it, copy it, and paste it in. Conda activate OI. And there we go. We have the Conda environment activated. Next, and this really couldn't be easier, this is one of the easiest installations that I've come across. All you do is pip install open-interpreter, hit enter, and there, it's done. You now have Interpreter ready to go. So first I'm going to show you how to use it with GPT-4, and that's the default. But it does support Code Llama. Now, admittedly, I haven't gotten the Code Llama version to work, but I know it's available, and I know they're trying to make it a lot easier for people to run it on various machines. There's a bunch of different issues discussing it on their GitHub repo, so check it out. I hope you can get it installed. I'll still show you how to install it, but I haven't been able to do it myself. But for now, let's just type Interpreter, and that's it. Welcome to Open Interpreter. The first thing it's going to ask you for is an OpenAI API key. So if you don't already have an OpenAI account, go ahead and sign up, grab an API key, come back here, and paste it in. All right, there is my API key, and of course, I'm going to revoke this API key before publishing this video. Don't worry. Hit enter, and if we don't want to have to enter our API key every time we run Interpreter, we would do either on a Mac, we want to export it, or we want to set X right here, and it gives you both of those commands right when you're launching. And that's it. Now we're in there. So let's test it out now. I'm going to say, what files do I have on my desktop? You hit enter, and just like Code Interpreter, it's going to tell you what it's going to do. Then it's actually going to write the code for that. So here it is. To find out what files are on your desktop, we will use the shell command dir to list all the files in the desktop directory. Now, when I ran this on the Mac, it knew I was on a Mac. And now that I'm running it on Windows, it knows I'm on Windows. It's very impressive. So there we go. Would you like to run this code? Now, every time it outputs code, it asks for your approval. And you can skip that step. You can actually have it run the code automatically by typing interpreter space -y to launch Open Interpreter rather than just Interpreter. So we're going to say yes, run the code, and it actually ran into an issue. And just like Code Interpreter, it's going to try to figure out what the issue is and rewrite its code. So there it did that. Let's try it again. And that time it worked. I have a PDF. I have the cursor program. I have a Microsoft Excel file. I have Dropbox. I have Factorio, one of the best games ever made. OBS, YouTube folder, and so on. So it told me everything on the desktop. Really impressive. Now let's interact with the Excel file I have. What is the Excel file on the desktop about? Again, I'm not giving it much to run on, but it's going to figure out what I mean by that and run the command. So to understand what the Excel file is about, we need to open it and read its contents. So it's going to install some libraries, then it's going to actually run the code, open it up, figure it out. So there, it's installing the libraries right from the window. They've been successfully installed. Now it's writing the code to open up the file and see what it's about. Okay, so it got another issue. It figured out what the issue is, and now it's going to rewrite the code. And there we go. There's the Excel file. And so the file is about, and it's actually giving me an example, and it contains data about various fashion brands. Here are the first few rows. And that's exactly right. So now let's actually run some queries on it. Which company in that data set has the highest growth rate last year? So there it's going to sort the data, and then it's going to grab the one that's at top. And there we go. Nike. That's perfect. That's exactly right. But now let's take it a step further. I actually want to see a graph of the growth rate of all the companies. Create a graph of the growth rate of all of those companies. And it says that it's going to use matplotlib to do so. First it has to install. Great. And again, you can skip all the approvals simply by typing -y when launching Interpreter. And there it is. Absolutely incredible. There's the growth rate of the top 10 companies. And all I had to do is describe what I want, and it created this graph. Super cool. Next,
Someone tried to steal your Butterfinger this Halloween. Call the BFI. No one lays a finger on your Butterfinger.
I don't like the name of that file. I'm going to rename it to something much simpler. Rename that Excel file to brand data. So it ran into an issue, so it's trying something different, just like Code Interpreter would. Let's try that. And there we go, it worked. Perfect. And let's verify. Yep, right there. Branddata.xlsx. Perfect. Now, I have a PDF on my desktop, and I'm going to ask it to summarize that PDF. Summarize the first page of the PDF on my desktop. Okay, so it ran into an issue. Try it again. Yep, there it goes. And again, it is self-correcting code, which is so cool. Okay, the packages have been installed. Now it's actually writing the code to extract the text from that file. Okay, it's having trouble again. There was an issue opening the PDF. Let's try again. Now it says PDF file reader is deprecated, which I found on my Mac as well. Now let's try something different. And there we go, it worked. Now we're gonna summarize using the GenSim package. So let's install it. Okay, so it ran into another issue. Let's try it again. And it's having an issue with GenSim. And this isn't a problem with Open Interpreter, this is a problem with Python and GenSim. So we're going to try a different way. Same thing. Now it's saying let's use the BERT-based model. And I'm going to say no, let's use the SumY package. Okay, so got it installed, now let's use SumY. Or is it pronounced Summy? I'm not sure. There, it wrote some code, let's do it, and it has an issue. And it says the NLTK data needs to be downloaded. So let's download it. Downloaded it, unzipped it, great, successful. Now let's try it again. And here's the summary, it worked, perfect. So it talks about the attribution, of course, it's only the first page of the Attention is All You Need document, and I tried it on my Mac. Now, the authors of Open Interpreter are well aware of this, they're working on it, and I can't wait until Code Interpreter is available so that this is truly fully open source, completely local. Now, if you did want to run it with CodeLlama, here's how you would do it. And I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you where I get stuck. So first, you type interpreter and then -- local. And the first thing you're met with is asking what parameter count model you want to download. So we're going to download the smallest one because I know it's not going to work, so let's save some time. Then I'm going to ask for the lowest size, and then it's asking if I want to use a GPU, which I do, because I have one on this computer. So the CodeLlama interface is not found, let's install it, and this is where I always get stuck. Failed to install CodeLlama. We have likely not built the proper CodeLlama support in your system. And they even say here, running large language models locally is difficult. And if you have any insight, hop in their Discord and help them out. So that's it. I can't wait for this to have CodeLlama, but in the meantime, this is absolutely incredible. This is a fully open source version of Code Interpreter that you can run on your machine. And I want to know what you do with it. Tell me the use cases you think of in the comments below. And if you want me to create another video going over all the use cases that you all mentioned, let me know in the comments. I'll do it. If you liked this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Behind. Do you have any veggie nuggets? She's vegan this week.
LG cooking appliances with innovative features like air fry and turbo cook. Feed your crowd.
Oh my goodness, there it is. This is the first time an open source model has actually loaded the game. Wow, so CodeLlama actually beat GPT-4 on this challenge. Unbelievable. It solved it, and not only that, it did it in the most concise way. CodeLlama is out. Meta continues to dominate open source AI with the best open source coding assistant model there is. And apparently it was already instruction tuned and beats GPT-4. Is it true? We're going to run it through a bunch of tests. We're going to compare it directly to GPT-4 and we're going to see if it's better. Let's go. And before we dive into the testing, I want to show you a couple things. First, let's look at the Meta blog post. Introducing CodeLlama, an AI tool for coding. So CodeLlama is built on top of Llama 2, which was just released a few weeks ago. It's free for both research and commercial use. This is a model that Meta has fine-tuned on top of the Llama model specifically for coding. Coding is one of my favorite use cases, and you know what? GPT-4 is my go-to, so if this is better, I'm super excited. And the best part, it's based on a 34 billion parameter model, which means it is possible to fit it on consumer-grade hardware. Now granted, for the 34 billion parameter version, you do need a top-of-the-line GPU, but they also have smaller quantized versions. And here it says they're releasing CodeLlama with 7 billion, 13 billion, and 34 billion parameters respectively. And each of the models is trained with 500 billion tokens of code and code-related data. Now switching over to the blog post by Find, they have fine-tuned the CodeLlama 34B and CodeLlama 34B Python with an internal Find dataset that achieved 67.6% and 69.5% pass on human eval. And GPT-4 gets 67%. So according to this, yeah, it did beat it. But let's put it through some real-world tests to find out. Now what you're seeing here is two different browser windows. On the left side, I have Find's version of CodeLlama loaded up into RunPod into text generation web UI. And this is the 34 billion parameter version, quantized GPT-Q by the book. On the right side, GPT-4. Now for ease of setup, obviously GPT-4 wins. You just log into the website and there you go. However, it's paid. And technically, you can get CodeLlama for free on your computer. If you want to see a full tutorial about how to get it installed on your local computer, let me know in the comments. But I've created other videos about how to install those models locally and it follows the same pattern. Now, a couple things before we dive into the test. In the model card, I'm using the XLlama HF model loader and I'm using 2048 as the max token limit, but I believe you can use 4096 if you want. And I'm setting the temperature to the minimum value 0.01 because this is code and I don't want it to be creative at all. Just give me the straight code. Switching over to the default tab, this is the prompt template. We have a system prompt, a user message, and the assistant. The system prompt I'm using is you are a helpful coding assistant helping me write optimal Python code. The user message, that's where we're going to put our prompt, and then the assistant, that's what is going to be the output. So let's start testing. The first test we're going to run is the most basic. Write Python code to output numbers 1 to 100. Both models should get this easily. And here we go. Assistant response. Here's a simple one-liner for printing numbers 1 to 100 in Python. Now this is the first time I've seen it output something like this. Usually it's a very simple iterative for loop. But it's a one-liner. It should work. Let's test it out. Switching over to Visual Studio Code, I paste it in the code and let's play. All right, there it is. Numbers 1 to 100 output perfectly. All right, same question to GPT-4. I have no doubt it's going to get this right. All right, this is usually what I see is that for loop. So let's test it out. I know it's going to work already. Switching back to Visual Studio Code, let's hit play, and there it is. All 100 numbers perfect. They both pass. All right, now the one that basically no open source model gets right on the first try. Write the game Snake in Python using Pygame. And it starts by telling me creating an entire Snake game is quite extensive for this platform, but I can provide you with a basic outline. Now, given I only have 2,000 tokens to work with, I may need to hit continue down on here, but we'll see. And you can see it's actually really fast. All right, there it is. It was able to finish within the 2,000 token limit. This script sets up a basic window with a grid where the snake moves around, and the goal is to eat the red square without hitting any part of the snake or the walls. Perfect. All right, let's see if it works now. We're gonna copy all this code, switch back to Visual Studio Code. I pasted it. I don't see any errors immediately, so let's see if it works. Push play. Oh my goodness, there it is. This is the first time an open source model has actually loaded the game. So it's not perfect because the snake grows indefinitely, and that's not right. Let's see if it ends when I go into the snake itself. Nope, okay, it doesn't. That's fine. What about the wall? Yep. Okay, so it closes when I go into the wall. I think if I iterated on this prompt a couple more times, it would get it right. So that's super, super impressive. Now let's see what GPT-4 can do. Same prompt. Write the game snake in Python using Pygame. Now, looking at the code, it's interesting. It's actually very, very similar. So they set up the colors, they set up the game dimensions, but let's see if it actually works on the first pass. I'm already extremely impressed with CodeLlama because no other open source model has gotten the window to even open and work. All right, there, it's done. It's pretty short on code. Let's see if it works. Switching back to Visual Studio Code, I pasted in the new code. Let's click play. All right, there it is.
Hurry, Pella Window Replacement is on sale now. Visit PellaReplacement.com to learn more.
That worked, and it seems to have worked a little bit better already. Yep, the snake grows when it eats, the food disappears, and let's see if it ends if it goes into itself. Yep, it does. Okay. GPT-4 won this time, but still a very impressive showing from CodeLlama. Okay, next, I'm going to use this website, pythonprinciples.com. I'm going to grab some of its challenges, I'm going to paste it in word for word into both, then we can actually test the code and see if it works. We're going to start with a beginner problem, capital indexes. Write a function called capital indexes. The function takes a single parameter, which is a string. Your function should return a list of all the indexes in the string that have capital letters, and it gives an example. And let's paste it in. CodeLlama, let's go. That looks like it might work. Let's test it. So I copied the code, switching back to Python principles. I'm going to paste it in, and we're going to run the code. It worked. Perfect. Same question to GPT-4. All right, let's grab the code. Let's test it out. Congratulations, they both passed. Awesome. Now, let's give it a harder problem. This is an intermediate challenge. Define a function named allEqual that takes a list and checks whether all elements in the list are the same. First up, CodeLlama. Okay, let's test it out. All right, that passed. This is super impressive so far. Next, let's give it to GPT-4. Same question. All right, I pasted it in. Here we go. Okay, it ran the code, and actually, it didn't work. So GPT-4 failed this challenge. And it says wrong submission. The call allEqual should return true, but it returned false. Wow, so CodeLlama actually beat GPT-4 on this challenge. Let's give it a harder one now. This is the hardest one, thousands operators, 7 out of 10. Write a function named formatNumber that takes a non-negative number as its only parameter. Your function should convert the number to a string and add commas as a thousands separator. So for example, you give it 1 million, and it should return a string that says 1 million with commas. CodeLlama, let's go. That looked way too simple. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's see. Unbelievable. It solved it, and not only that, it did it in the most concise way. Amazing. Same question, GPT-4. Okay, so it actually gave me the same exact code, so I know it's going to work. Yep, there it is. It worked. So they both passed this one. Now, I found another website that has expert level challenges, Edit. So let's try that one more time. I'm going to give both of them expert level challenges. Okay, longest alternating substring. Given a string of digits, return the longest substring with alternating odd, even, or even odd digits. If two or more substrings have the same length, return the substring that occurs first. Pasted it into CodeLlama, let's see. Here's an approach using a sliding window to keep track of the current substring and its properties, alternating even odd. We iterate over each character in the input string, updating the current substring and checking if it meets our conditions for being the longest so far. Okay, there it is. Paste our code. Error. Not all arguments converted during string formatting. Okay, so that did not work. Let's give the same problem to GPT-4. All right, it's done. Let's test if it works. And check. Nope, didn't work either. So they both failed this test. This was a really hard one. All right, next I'm going to try something a little new. I'm going to say for each model, to write Python code that can be refactored as well as the refactored code. Then I'm going to give it to the other model and have it refactor it. So CodeLlama first. All right, so here's the original code and here's the refactored code below it. This is great. It follows instructions perfect. First, let's test out the code, 5300. Great. Now let's test out the refactored code, 5300. Perfect. Now over to GPT-4, I'm going to say refactor this code. The given code is already clean and does a specific job. However, if you'd like, we can refactor by organizing related functions under a class. All right, not exactly what I needed. It's actually longer than what I wanted, but let's test it out. And play, 5300. Great. Now GPT-4, I'm going to have it do the same thing. Write a Python code example that can be refactored as well as the refactored code. And there we get the refactored code. So first, let's test it out. Here's the original code, area 50, perimeter 30. And here's the refactored code, area 50, perimeter 30. Now, let's have CodeLlama refactor GPT-4's code. Refactor this code. Now, interestingly, I can't get it to output anything. It just says assistant response. Yep, I can't get it to give me anything. So I'm going to say that's a fail, unfortunately. I wonder what I'm doing wrong here. If you know, let me know in the comments. Also, I'm out of ideas of how to test this against Python. If you have any ideas about how to test these two models with code, let me know in the comments. But that's it for now. I am incredibly impressed with CodeLlama. It held its own against GPT-4 perfectly well. And in fact, on one of the coding challenges, it did better than GPT-4. So this is a huge leap forward. I didn't think GPT-4 was going to have any competition in the coding realm anytime soon from open source. But you know what? I was wrong. If you liked this video, please consider giving me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Customers into customers with the #1 email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp.
We're talking about AI that attends meetings for you. Apple is spending millions of dollars per day on AI. X, formerly Twitter, now can use your posts to train its models. The Pentagon is investing heavily into an AI drone network. Robots have been trained to outsmart humans at tag. An AI surgeon is saving lives. The largest open source AI model is released. A tiny country is benefiting tremendously from the AI gold rush, and so much more. Sit back, relax, subscribe, and let's go. Are you tired of paying attention to meetings or needing to show up at all? New AI from Google might make that a thing of the past. This week at Google's Cloud Next conference, Google launched a suite of new functionality for Google Meet, their video conferencing software. First, with the click of a button, Google will take notes and create action items automatically. And if you're late, it can also show you a mid-meeting summary to catch you up. You'll be able to talk with Google's bot privately during the meeting. And
I'm in rapid decline right now. I gotta wrap this up. I thought I'd be able to at least stick it out to finish this shirt. I'm not gonna make it.
Google Meet will have a 10 for me
I need to take my temperature again.
generates text about what you might want to talk about. And
Oh my god.
And not to be
I really hate to stand up. I know I'm gonna get a fucking head rush and dizzy and all that shit. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Damn.
Mid-meeting catch-up and other features. So, who thinks the future will be?
Let me run to the bathroom. Let me come back and clean up in here.
Next,
And
researchers at
I gotta
UC Berkeley
go
have trained
now.
robots to outsmart humans at tag. This is not a simple following algorithm. The robot actually cuts people off and actively searches for them. This is all based on a new way to teach AI strategic decision making for dynamic tasks such as playing tag. According to the decoder, learning such behaviors in the real world is extremely difficult for a robot because it has limited knowledge of its environment and other agents through its sensors. The goals of other agents are unclear, and movement in the world is fundamentally more difficult than in simulations. Therefore, direct learning of such behaviors, for example through reinforcement learning, has failed due to these requirements. This novel new approach, called privileged learning, aims to help AI understand the real world more effectively during decision making. So now, robots will be able to hunt us down much more effectively, one step closer to the Terminator. Now, let's talk about the two biggest tech companies in the world. First, Apple is rumored to be spending millions of dollars per day training models. According to Mac Rumors, Apple's AI chief, John Giannandrea, is said to be skeptical of AI chatbots, But even with that skepticism, he formed a team to work on conversational AI 4 years ago. We previously talked about Apple's internal AI chatbot codenamed Ajax. The team behind it is only 16 people, but they spend millions of dollars per day in training large language models. But text-based chatbots are not what Apple believes is the future. Instead, they continue to bet big on voice-based AI, aka Siri. A voice interface with AI always made a ton of sense to me, and in my opinion, that will be the interaction method that takes AI to the next level. And it's not like we don't have the technology to do that right now, but in true Apple fashion, they want to make the experience unique to Apple. Apple wants to give Siri the ability to execute multi-step commands. The pieces of this technology are here already, between Open Interpreter, which I just published a video about, large language models, translation AI, voice cloning, transcription. It's possible to put this together right now. And for the second biggest company in the world by market cap, Microsoft has filed a patent for AI-assisted wearables, including a backpack. According to WindowsCentral.com, the patent illustrates how a backpack with sensors could accumulate information from users' surroundings to artificial intelligence and provide assistance to a person. One example given in the patent application is a skier who is deciding where to go. When the backpack scans the area and lets the skier know that a certain area is out of bounds. Microsoft is betting big on AI with their investment in OpenAI and AI integrations into seemingly every software product they offer. However, one category that they've not done well with is hardware, with the exception of Xbox. They might view this as an opportunity to be a strong contender in the hardware markets, but there's an equally strong chance that the product described in the
Alright, guys. Alright, I'm gonna go get some fluids in me. If this shit goes up to anything past 101, I gotta go to the doctor. Alright, I'll catch y'all guys later. Peace, y'all.